I have so many things to say today. I don't even know where to start. Today, the subject matter theoretically is Democrats will be shocked as to how quickly MAGA reverses their wicked plans. It's kind of a generic term for what we are saying, and that's what I wrote before, and that's what I intend to deal with. But there are other aspects of what's going on in the real world today, which I find so fascinating. And one of the things I found even more interesting was that we, this morning, were talking about stuff that was fantastic. And one of the ideas was that I asked a very simple question: what is zero? Or somehow zero is zero. And somebody said, well, that means nothing. And I thought, oh no. I'll bet you nobody studied this since this morning. I'll bet you anything that after this long discussion about what zero means, the number zero, I'll bet you nobody investigated this today. I'll bet you anything. People said, oh, yeah, that's right. Because nobody was pulled to find out what zero means. What is the number of nothing being connoted? Because there is no thirst for knowledge and understanding. None. Don't feel bad. It's not just you. It's a lot of people. A lot of people just don't have any interest in this whatsoever. There's nothing that pulls people. There's no sleepless nights. You never get up out of bed to look up a word or two. Nothing. There's something that pulls you. There's something that gnaws at you. Nothing that says where you write it down, where you think, what does that mean? I've got to get, what does that word mean? Who was that? What was the name of that person? We need to have this absolutely overpowering sense of knowledge. We have to know. We have to know what we're talking about. And there is none. It doesn't exist. It's fleeting. It's just, whatever. We're going to fix that. We're going to change that. This morning, the idea, I don't even know where it came from. The idea of zero. Zero doesn't mean nothing. The weight of a photon is zero. The weight of a photon doesn't mean it weighs nothing. It means that of the units that we have, it's zero. It has no weight, but it exists. How does that, what? The idea of zero temperature, absolute zero, minus 270, centigrade, Kelvin, where there's no motion, where the atoms and the molecules stop, they're frozen. Zero, absolute zero. It doesn't mean there is no temperature. Temperature doesn't exist. And yet, when also you look at, in terms of Indian philosophy, zero, nobody starts off counting by 0, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work that way. But instead of it pulling people and luring people to say, I've got to know more about this. What is zero if it doesn't mean nothing? What is the null set when something doesn't exist? When people are dead, is there zero life or is there zero existence? This is the thing which is so critical. We got to get into schools. We have to make people just become fascinated with these concepts. Fascinated. But we can't. And I don't know how we do that. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way. Somebody was talking today about World War III and fallout. They said, well, today's thermonuclear bombs, there's no fallout because they're fusion versus fissile. What? Nobody jumped to say, well, what does that mean? Of course, the world is annihilated. Something happened. I think school did it to people. I think it killed the ability, the desire to want to know things. I think it's so interesting. I'm going to play something for you later of what Tucker Carlson said about being attacked by a demon. I don't, I'm not, I can't say, it doesn't exist, but I do not believe that people are attacked by demons. I believe that there might have been something else, but the idea of a demon and evil and that's me. I'm thinking it was something else. It was a means by which we try spiritually to understand what's going on. We'll be talking about this. Oh my God, get ready tonight. You're not going to like this one. No. Amy Winehouse. First of all, my friends, as we talk about the end of the world, right now, Prepare with Lionel has a Black Friday deal going on now. We've got until the end of the week. Well, the month. You know, we're talking about, for the first time, World War III. We never talked about that before. We were talking about things before like dock strikes and bad weather, maybe arranged weather, or manufactured weather, or rioting, or grit. We're talking now for the first time World War III, giving oh my, I always said, no, we're not. World War III is not, no, this is an option. So when I talk to you about emergency things like emergency food and emergency water sources and purification and generators, I don't know what's going to. We World War III was not even on the table. It's on the table now. What do you need? Preparewithlionel.com. I'm not trying to be this is not fear porn or doomsday commercialism. This is the truth. So do what you want, but if you're smart, and I know you are, you're going to say, I've got to take a real serious inventory. So go to preparewithlionel.com and see from the great people at My Patriot Supplies, look at what's available, okay? I am dead serious, my friends. And I don't mean to use that term lightly. Now, let me go back to what I'm saying. There were things that were said that I swear to God, you have no idea how I have spent today listening to so many theorists, and it was very good when I was watching before. It was really good, and I suggest this to you on the number 0. It's called Closer to Truth. It's called A Zero More Than Nothing, introducing the Zero Project. Fascinating. Did you do that today? Are you interested by that? Do you know how interesting this is? No, you don't. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like you have to feel like you've got to say, oh my God. Now, I want you to start off with something right now, and I'm going to give you this particular. You know who David Icke is, right? It's very interesting, very thought-provoking, very, very interesting. I like, he makes us think. I'm going to play something for you right off the bat, and the very first thing that he said, and this is critical. You will find absolutely, you will get it wrong. 100%. 100%. You ready for this? 100%. You got this? Okay, good. Listen to this carefully. You will get this one and you'll miss this one. Now watch this.
Evolved from apes. Why do apes still exist?
Okay, I'm going to start off with this. Did you hear this one? Did you hear what he said? I hope this is loud enough for you. Good. Did you hear that one? Listen to this one. Listen to this.
If humans evolved from apes, why do apes still exist?
Answer the question. He has some other good questions like this one.
If Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who took the famous photo of his arrival?
He has some good questions. Let's go to this first one. This one's he really blew this one, and nobody catches it.
If humans evolved from apes.
Did we evolve from apes? First question. Did we evolve from apes? Listen to this.
If humans evolved from apes.
Did we evolve from apes? Answer the question. Hang on. Thank you so much. Frederick has got it right. Frederick says we did not evolve from apes, but had a common ancestor. Frederick, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You are absolutely correct. We started with it. We had a common ancestor and we veered off. That's why apes are here and we're here. Congratulations. How could somebody as smart as David Icke blow this one? How? How can you miss that one? How can you not get that one? I did not. I mean, I'm serious. I was shocked. Shocked, I say. Shocked. How could you possibly say that? Look at the good news. Look at this. Howie Brown gifted 5 Lionel Nation memberships. Thank you. Pilgrim says the fission device assists in the fusion device. Okay. Thank you. But in terms of fallout, it's a different story. Isn't that something? Now, let's move on because he asked some very good questions, but that is exactly the truth. Very good. I'm very proud of you.
Why do apes still exist? If Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who took the famous photo of his arrival?
Answer that one. That's a very good question. How did that work out? How did that work out? We'll get to that one in a moment.
How is it possible that NASA lost the recordings of the moon landing, one of humanity's most important events?
Now that's an absolute great question. Great question. Great question.
And why haven't we gone back to the moon? Why did 56 countries sign a treaty restricting access to Antarctica? What are they protecting there? How did ancient civilizations build perfect, geometrically precise
great questions
without advanced machinery? And why do some Egyptian artworks seem to depict spacecraft? Why do dragons appear in myths worldwide?
There's also UFOs in the Bible.
And even get mentioned in the Bible.
Yep.
And what's the connection between pine cones in Egyptian art and the pineal gland?
That one I don't know.
In the human brain. Why is the entertainment industry filled with symbols that have demonic connotations?
Well, we'll get to that one too. That's a very interesting question.
And why, in such an advanced world, do we face more obesity, cancer, and depression than ever before? What do you think? Leave your comment to share who you think has the answer.
Isn't that a great question? Isn't that good? Now listen to this one. As to who took the picture, this I ran across this one. This is fascinating. This is a Glenn Beck interview.
Footage. He's walking out on the moon. One giant leap for mankind.
He had a TV camera.
Where?
It was in the as he walked down the lamb. He pulled a handle that deployed what was called a MESA, the modular equipment assembly, modular equipment storage area, whatever it was. And in that was a camera. And so when that came down, they flipped it on, and the camera was pointed right at the landing. And so as he came down the ladder, this camera was taking his picture. It's a TV camera. It's grainy, but it was in that assembly. Right. And then once we got off, they took the camera and put it on a little tripod, if I remember. But
last thing, I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well, what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about, how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said, contact light, engine stop.
It was
and a few
exciting.
other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed.
That's just
Okay.
Who shot?
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? You don't think about that, do you? Will this keep you up at night? No. Buzz wanted to, I think he was saying so many things. Buzz later on, I think he had alcohol problems, and he might have, who knows, by virtue of this. Remember when the 3 astronauts met for the, actually spoke, and they were almost hesitant to speak. They looked almost like they had done something wrong. Do you remember that? Does this make you think? Could they pull something like this off? Come on. Could they pull something like this? Do you think it's even remotely possible? Could this happen? Could this happen? I ask you. Come on. It's not possible. And why, if this wasn't true, would not Putin say, let me tell you something. We know what you did. I've got the best scientists, the best astronauts, the best. Germany, we had Werner von Braun. We know exactly what you did. And we can prove it. Give us all this money and we'll keep it quiet. If this was so, if this did not occur, and if we wore thinly appointed, astronaut suits, and if the radiation would have burnt, why didn't somebody from another country point this out? Why? The questions are so interesting because people are answering. Gotta say something funny. Gotta say something funny. Gotta say something funny. Gotta say something. Gotta be clever. Gotta be clever. Gotta say something. It's fascinating. Think. I don't think. I write. Make a joke. If it were animation, it would be grainy. I don't like Glenn Beck. Why? Think. It's okay. Think. I was telling somebody the other day, and I'm going to say this again, because speaking of Christmas, there's another thing I want to tell you about. Because we mentioned this thing about prepare by Lionel. By the way, all these things are listed in the section. They tried to bring down a guy named Mike Lindell. They tried to bring him down. They tried to destroy him, Mike Lindell. Because Mike Lindell dared to speak on behalf of President Trump, and I think he might have dared to question, oh my God, dared to question an election. Well, they wanted to destroy his company, mypillow.com. He's still there. And I'm going to tell you something. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Please, Christmas time, let's show him. I'm telling you, I can't say it enough. This guy is a champion of free speech. A champion. And he deserves your respect and your business. He does. Here's one for you. My favorite's always been geoengineering. Don't call it chemtrails. Don't call it that. We don't call it that. Did you ever see this?
Cloud seeding is something that I studied in school for meteorology, weather modification.
This is from The View, the old View.
Back when I went to school, it was like...
Listen to this shit. Watch this shit.
It's too expensive.
Literally right in your face.
Well, guess what? When you get desperate and then technology gets better, 20 years later, here we are. Cloud seeding is ramping up so big.
Hello.
That flare on the plane. They send silver iodide into the clouds, and then it makes it snow more. So they can't make a cloud, right? But they're taking storms that are already there and then giving it a little boost. So that part's not new. What's new is they have hundreds of these ground cloud seeders. So they're actually puffing the silver iodide with a flare. And you see, I think I have a picture of the actual ground cloud seeder into the air. That thing sits all over the Rocky Mountains, all over the American West. 10 states are doing this. And I wanted to tell the story because my friend Russ is the state climatologist of Colorado. And he said, you got to see what's happening with cloud seeding. Commercial, perhaps.
Isn't that something? Why didn't we hear about that? Why? Don't you love that? Oh, I love that. How did we not? Well, that was cloud seeding. This is different. Is it really? How much of this stuff is still there? Everything is there. Everything is just Operation Popeye, Storm Fury, geoengineering. Don't forget geoengineeringwatch.org with Dane Wigington, solar radiation management, climate, carbon dioxide removal. It's all there. All of it being there. And they called me crazy. Why? This Caitlin Collins, or Caitlin, whatever her name is, Collins? You know who she is, right? You understand her, right? She's that all of a sudden, and I'm not going to say anything, all of a sudden she's right to the top. She's the darling of CNN. She's going to be the White House correspondent. Why do you think that is? I can't tell you. Can't tell you. I can't. But think. Just think. This one, you're on your own. Can't tell you that one. But this is years ago. I think it was 2016. This might have been, 2016. Caitlin Collins. And she worked for Daily Caller. And guess what? You might not remember her, but watch this.
Society Foundation has given over $500,000 to Black Lives Matter because they want to be able to support Black Lives Matter as it grows. They're worried, that they won't know how to grow properly, and they
This is Caitlin Collins, CNN darling.
want to help them dismantle structural inequality. That was in one of the memos that was released in the data dump.
What does that mean?
They basically want to help Black Lives Matter further their agenda. And I think it's an issue also that the Democratic Party needs to address because so many Democrats have openly endorsed Black Lives Matter. And now that we see that this guy who is funding Hillary Clinton is also funding Black Lives Matter, that's a problem, and that's something that Americans should be aware of.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing it to our attention. Caitlin Collins from the Daily Caller, thank you very much.
Isn't that something? Now she's working for CNN and now she's in the what? Fusion devices produce plenty of radiation. Just ask all cancer victims who hit the beach as Army or Marine Corps after those tests in the Pacific. Well, that's not the bomb loads. You know who did a wonderful exposition on that? Believe it or not, was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Did a very interesting thing. Of course, our biggest problem today is annihilation, thermonuclear. Just incredible. See how easy that was? Fusion, unlike fission, is relatively clean. It releases energy, but no harmful radioactive products or large amounts of nuclear fallout. The fission reactions, though, especially the last fission reactions, release a tremendous amount of fission products and fallout. A key point about thermonuclear fusion is it does not produce significant radioactive waste or fissile materials. There it is. There it is. Do you see how long it took me to look that up? Did you see that? That was it. That was it. Boom. That was it. Didn't have to remember, didn't have to think about it. That's it. Hey, that's right. Isn't that something? You're listening to Coast to Coast AM with Lionel. Art Bell was one of the greats. Isn't that interesting? Everything I'm telling you is right there. NASA provided the verisimilitude to pull it off. I don't know about the verisimilitude. Interesting phraseology. But there's Caitlin Collins. You know what else is interesting about Caitlin Collins? You're going to love this. Did you know that I looked this up, and from 2018, in something called The Observer, I guess.com, there is currently a minor civil war brewing among conservative media outlets over homophobic tweets sent by 26-year-old CNN reporter Caitlin Collins as a college student at the University of Alabama. Did you know this one? The reporter's tweets in which she called someone the F word for gay, also means a bundle of sticks, also means a British cigarette, and wrote IDK, I don't know if I want to room with a lesbian. I don't know if that's so bad. In 2011, first resurfaced on Sunday evening, shortly after the LGBTQ activist group Log Cabin Republicans drew attention to the statements on Twitter. Collins issued an apology, calling the language ignorant and immature. Isn't that interesting? The Breitbart machine is mounting a campaign against Collins as a referendum on CNN's negative coverage of Brett Kavanaugh. So and you can go through this. Does it matter? I don't know. But she is, what's the word? Full of shit. This is what everybody is right now. This is where we live. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't it great? Isn't it great? Let me tell you another one too, which is absolute full oh no. Look at this one. This is my favorite story. I don't think you're gonna catch what I'm saying.
Fighting back against corporate DEI may have scored their biggest victory yet.
Okay, here we go. Watch this. Conservatives are going after DEI in the corporate world. What do I care about Walmart DEI? I don't know.
Walmart, the nation's largest private employer, just announced it is rolling back its diversity, equity, and inclusive initiatives amid outcries over so-called corporate wokeism and claims that DEI is more divisive than inclusive. Walmart says it's ending racial equity training programs for
who cares?
Staff, evaluating programs designed to increase supplier diversity, reviewing funding of pride events.
Okay, does this matter to you, Walmart?
And removing sexual or transgender products marketed to children.
Now that's a different story.
Now Walmart defends the move, saying, quote, "We have been on a journey.
No,
we
haven't.
aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging." Other companies making similar moves. They include Harley-Davidson, Tractor Supply, and John Deere.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? First of all, do you care? Does anybody care about Walmart? What the hell do I care about Walmart? Doesn't matter whether you've been in a Walmart. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody in the group. I don't watch CNN. Who cares? That's not the point. God, we always love to hear, oh, I don't know about that. I've never been in a Walmart. That's not the point. Pollyanna says it's all about tumbling down and it's beautiful to watch. Yes. Why do you think this is happening? Why? Because of Trump. Trump. Not any individual activist, not any individual person. Trump. If Biden won, they would say, screw you. I'm not going to listen to you. Biden's in charge. We're going to keep doing this. We don't care. Do you think the Walmart family, you think the Walton family really cares about this? No, but they did it during the Biden administration. So everybody's going to be taking credit for, I did it. I brought him up. Great. It's Trump. I'm belching. It's Trump. It's Trump. Here's a great piece. You're going to love this. This is one of the greatest pieces. Ricky Gervais. Now, this is my idea of humor. I never laugh out loud. Listen to this. This is maybe one of the best jokes ever in terms of the logical. I said that is one of the most perfect joke. Not laughing, but perfect. That is exactly perfect because it shows you the logic and the illogic of what we're looking at right now. Oh, it is superb. Absolutely superb, dear friends. Dear friends. Okay. Another bit of memory lane, some terrific stuff. This is the man that I would pick for Department of Defense, but there's no way anybody would allow him in.
There were plenty of people behind the scenes in the intelligence and military arenas who were telling members.
This is Douglas McGregor, Colonel
of the Senate and House privately, and also informing the president and his national security team that Ukraine could not win. And they were very reluctant to keep giving these weapon systems to people that could not easily assimilate them. We've talked about that before. You know, armies are not shake and bake propositions.
Yep.
Neither are navies or air forces. It takes many, many, many years to develop forces. When Yamamoto agreed to the Pearl Harbor attack, his assumption was that not only would the carriers be there, but the real purpose of the attack on Pearl Harbor was to kill as many of the United States Navy's officers as possible. Because he understood that the officer corps in the Navy was absolutely vital to the effectiveness of that force. If you could kill most of those officers, it would take us years to train and educate and produce new generations of capable naval officers. I think people were trying to tell them, Ukrainians can't do this as fast as you would like them to do. It's impossible. And you know what the answer was, Dan? Well, that's all right. we're harming Russia. Remember?
Yeah.
We're harming Russia. And when people were asked, what's our purpose? Was our purpose to help Ukraine become...
Let me stop right there. Do you think President Trump would ever pick him? Not on your life. Why is that? Why? Why? Never. Never. Jeffrey Sachs? Never. How about this incredible man? This, let me see. This, let me see. Do I have where? Do I have? I don't have him. I had a wonderful piece from Mearsheimer. It was wonderful. Him? No. Why not? Why? Why? Why wouldn't they pick him? Why? Come on. Why? You like McGregor. He's fantastic. Too old? No. Stop it. He's a genius. Why not? Come on. Why not? Why not? Already worked for him. Nope. Talks too much. Nope. Nope. Come on. Why not? It's simple. Come on, Sparky. Nope. He's a peacemaker. Well, maybe. No, that's not it. What is it? Come on. This is so easy. Nope. Come on. Drones hypersonic. Nope. That's not an answer. Senate won't confirm. Nope. Too balanced. Nope. Already messed up. Nope. Come on. He's a woman. No. My God. This is the obvious. Anti-war. Nope. Come on. I'm waiting. Mearsheimer. Him. Napolitano. Jeffrey Sachs. Never. Logical. Nope. I'm waiting. Nope. Fake. He's right. Nope. Nope. Come on. Because the military industrial complex will lose money. Nope. Gaza. Close enough. I'm going to take that one. Gaza. Israel. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. It only took you. You never saw that coming. How can you not say that? Now Howie Brown says, Israel. This is a fact. This is a fact. Absolutely. Oh, look at this. Look at the Sparkyisms. It's an absolute fact. Today, did you hear that Israel and Lebanon, or Hezbollah, got into a ceasefire? Ceasefire? Why do you think that is? Why? Who's responsible for that? Biden? What? You've said the big lies are easy to conceal. Yeah, actually McLuhan said that, but yeah, you're right. And I don't know what that means. This is it. This is the thing which nobody, it ain't gonna be talked about. Period. Do you understand that? It's nothing personal. It's the truth. And let me tell you else, who is the biggest blowhard that they better reel in is Dr. Seb Gorka. Tell Bela Lugosi, or actually it's more Boris Karloff. You better tell him to tone it down. This ain't a radio show. He's going to be a problem. Right now, especially with World War III hanging on, you don't need him. He's going to be a big problem. He is the biggest mistake he's making. He's got a big mouth, and he has no idea that he works for President Trump. That's like if you put in Bannon. You don't want Bannon in this. Bannon's on the dip. Bannon doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Bannon is best being Bannon. Gorka, too. That's going to be one of the biggest mistakes ever. And nobody gets it. Stephen Lynch says Trump's already running the show. He may be running the show, but if you've got some numbnuts spouting a bunch of nonsense, that'll destroy the show. Does this make any sense to you? I think it does. Okay, listen to this, my friend. Listen carefully about something, what happens, which is a critical issue right now, especially if you or someone that you know and love is up to their neck in debt. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. My friends, listen to what I have to say. This is, I think, one of my absolute favorite. This is John Mearsheimer.
Chapter or the section of the book where we talk about this charge of anti-Semitism is called the Great Silencer. That's what we call the charge of anti-Semitism.
This is what's one of the biggest issues in this country, which has to be addressed, is the fact they're trying to shut you up. Every time we say something, there's somebody trying to shut us up. It's a conspiracy theorist. You're a racist. You're a white nationalist. Anything that you say that is contrary to the official line regarding our involvement either with Gaza or Hezbollah or the Houthis or Iran or Middle East or anything along those lines, if you do not walk in lockstep and if you don't advocate handing a pen, a blank check to Netanyahu, whatever you want to do, whatever it's, we will back you 100%. You're an anti-Semite.
The Great Silencer. Who wants to be called an anti-Semite, especially in the wake of the Holocaust? Do I want to be called an anti-Semite? Oh my God, no. So it's very effective. But, it is important to talk about these issues, in my humble opinion.
Yes.
They wanted to silence us.
Yep.
And this is not good, right? It's not good for Israel. It's not good for the United States.
Yep.
And I would argue in the end, if anything, it's going to foster anti-Semitism. I think you don't want to run around telling people that they can't talk about Israel without being called an anti-Semite. It's just not healthy. But I have a rather narrow definition of what a genocide is, and I don't think there are many cases that qualify as a genocide. The Holocaust certainly does. Okay? Now
you can listen, you can continue to listen, but I cannot emphasize enough how critical. He would never be allowed step one in the White House. Would Trump? Hell no. Never. Look, you got to face facts, my friend. I love the guy. And he might tell you in the QT, look, I know what you mean, but I can't do it. No way. Jeffrey Sachs, Mearsheimer, McGregor, Napolitano, never. Are you kidding me? Because they don't follow the Elise Stefanik school where you have to walk in lockstep. And it's the most incredible thing. I've spent my entire life talking about stuff that my government has done. Nobody ever called me un-American. But yet, if you say something contrary to Bibi Netanyahu, I'm an anti-Semite, that's bullshit. You know that. Doesn't anti-Semite mean also anti-Arab? I know, technically speaking. What is a Semite? Yes, I know, but you understand, Stephen. We have to fight this stuff. And you've got to make sure you stand up. Whenever somebody says something that you think is nuts, you've got to say it. Remember this wonderful man? Remember this great moment from memory lane?
Coleman, he's in San Diego this morning. Thank you for being here.
It's nice to be on CNN. Hello to all your viewers. I resent you calling me a denier. That is a word meant to put me down. I'm a skeptic about climate change. And I want to make it darn clear, Mr. Kenny's not a scientist. I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now. Hold on just a minute. I'm not done. And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney. And yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform. And I regret it's become political instead of scientific. But the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder, though, is when you see...
because you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
What I do want...
I love this. Johnny Maz, the Spaz, says, we allegedly went to the moon, yet 2 American astronauts are stranded on the International Space Station till February. There you go. Johnny says, you missed me earlier, sir. I stand corrected, my dear friend. Here's one for you. Now, this is, I know you don't like the notion of AI. This is AI. This is a joke. But it's so funny. Watch this.
I don't want to say anything about President Trump before the election. But now that he got elected, I get to tell the Mexican people what I really think about President Trump.
This is the president. Claudia Scheinbaum.
President Trump is a very unique man. He is a big, sexy man. And he does this sexy Trump dance where he shakes his big booty and he looks absolutely handsome and beautiful. Look at that sexy beast. Oh my God, he is so sexy. Mucho caliente. Yes, keep moving it. Muévelo, papi. Move that big booty for President Claudia. Anyway, I really don't care about the 25% tariffs. If he wants to tariff me, he can tariff me all night long. Tariff me harder, papi.
That is great. Now that is AI. That is a joke. Okay. But I love it. I love it. Sparky, by the way, boy, clarification says, you know, when I commented on an earlier Lionel show about the new Russian missile giving the ability to go nuclear without going nuclear, I meant figuratively. Oreshnik hazelnut isn't literally nuclear. That is correct. What it is, though, is, as you know, force is mass times acceleration. And the faster you move something, the more problematic it is. You see, do you know why a bullet causes so much destruction? Because it moves so fast. Is that what you're saying, Sparky? I know it is, my friend. I know what it is. Now let me play something for you right now, which I thought was, I don't mean to laugh at this, and I know you like Tucker, and I love him to death, and I think he's a great guy. Oh, she removed the statue of Columbus in Mexico City. Son of a. This is one of these ones where I'm thinking, how did you say this with a straight face? This is where I think sometimes Tucker gets a little bit.
The presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good.
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh yeah, I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism, or just?
Nope, in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs in the bed and mauled.
Mauled?
Physically
by
mauled.
A demon?
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left.
Is that right?
Claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and I
woke
thought I was
up.
going to suffocate, and I walked around outside.
Did he say I woke up? You mean he was asleep when he was attacked and the claw marks? He woke up? Wait a minute, what?
Or by something unseen that left.
Is that right?
Unseen?
Claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was going to suffocate, and I walked around outside.
Like a dream?
And then I walked in, and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains.
Wait a minute. He was attacked by a demon. He's got claw marks. He was asleep. He got up, he walked around, and they weren't awake. The demon was quiet.
On my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder.
In a bed with dogs, okay? With dogs who have on their, what do they call it? Oh yeah, nails.
Shoulder. And they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding?
They're bleeding, yeah. No, they're actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself. I don't have long nails. And they didn't fit my hands anyway. But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before.
And for good
had no
reason.
idea what that was. I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did? Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah. I don't understand to this day. I'm not going to put it.
You didn't try to refute the spiritual part in your own mind. You went right into the.
Well, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't now.
True.
So, but I'm not from a, what do they call it, faith tradition that talks about things like that or even acknowledges their existence. Like, there's nothing like that. I've never heard anybody say anything like that in my whole life.
What was the next day like?
Well, the next morning I woke up and I thought that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And then I saw blood on my sheets and I realized that was not a dream at all. I called my assistant, who was like the only evangelical Christian I know, well enough to call with something bizarre like that, totally bizarre like that.
He called his assistant an evangelical Christian.
And she said, oh yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, people are attacked in their bed by demons.
Oh, that happens. Yeah, people are attacked. Yeah, it happens on regular times. Oh, yeah. How many claw marks? Well, yeah. Rib cage? Yeah. That was a bilateral demon attack. They normally attack either directly on the thoracic or in a flange. We call that right around the lat. Yeah, it's a lat attack.
What? What are you even talking about? Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not leaving anything out, and I'm not pretending to understand that. I can only say what happened to me, and that did happen to me. And then I was seized with this very intense desire to read the Bible, which I then started without any study aids or anything. I bought a Bible that didn't have any. I'm not interested in editorializing in the Bible. I just want to read it and see what's in there myself. I have very low levels of trust for Christian pastors, most of whom, I'm just not a fan at all. Sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. And so I don't want to hear other people's opinions. I just want to see what's in there. So I spent a year and a half reading it, and then I started rereading it. And it was just a transformative experience.
Did you go to the doctor?
I'm not, holding myself out as someone from whom you could get theological advice, because I'm not.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand any of it.
Yeah, that happened.
God allowed
He's not buying
the demon?
I have no idea what happened. All I know is
he said it was a demon.
I was dead asleep with my wife and dogs, and I woke up with claw marks on my rib cage underneath my arms, and it didn't even make sense. My arms would, anyway, whatever. No one has to believe me. I don't care.
It was mauled by
but that happened to me, and so I just was like, wow, That's real. Whatever that is, I'm even not sure what it is.
But very real.
No, you said.
And
you
so
were
then that
mauled by
presence
a
of that
demon.
evil launches something.
What's this cross? I'm not. Where did it go? Look, did you? Look. Did you hear? I mean, he's mauled by a demon. This guy went from, I don't know what the hell it was mauled by a demon. What? As opposed to, he said this later on. Tucker literally, bro, had an attack of sleep apnea. Well, if he had apnea, he would have just stopped breathing and whatever. Just saying, but the last place I'm going is outside. That's true. Maybe Tucker was attacked by morphodites. That's right. That's right, Sparky. Spanish. I woke up last night and found myself wrestling with my conscience. There you go. Now, what do you listen? Something. He's going through something. He's got a lot of turmoil in his life. He was talking about his drinking, and I stopped drinking, and I'm drinking, and I'm smoking, and then the whole thing about, the Fox News stuff, and he went through. Remember when somebody called him and said, "Hey, listen, NSA, they're listening to you." Remember that one? Did that happen? Well, I'm not saying somebody called him, but was he tracked by the NSA? Do you hear sometimes? I'm not saying it's paranoid or it's any kind of, dare I say, schizophrenic or whatever, but do you know what I'm saying? He said he was attacked by a demon and then he woke up. See, the story, he didn't think this one through. And his wife did. And his wife, when the dogs aren't sleeping, a dog can hear a fish fart a mile away, and the dogs are asleep, and he's being mauled by a demon. And the dogs are, I mean, maybe, look, that's the way they work. And then he called somebody up. I called the first person I know who was an evangelical Christian. How about calling a doctor? Can you help me with this? Put some Neosporin on this? I got some claw marks. Can you help me, Doc? How'd you get that? I'd rather not say. You been drinking again? No. And I'm in bed with a bunch of dogs. I don't know if the dogs did it, but look, he's going through a lot right now. Where does Tucker get his shrooms? I'll tell you what happened to me. Very, very true story. And I never, ever, I tell people this, so to speak, but I don't. How do I say this? This happened, but I don't know what it happened. I don't know what it was. I got to tell you this story. When I was in law school, I was in this kind of an apartment. And one day, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this sound like so, when somebody walks, heavy walker, and they walk with their heel, it's like some people walk and they slide, other people walk and they dig them in their. It was like somebody on the ceiling was like, bah, 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 and went away. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. And I thought, what the hell? Didn't think anything. Maybe it's somebody outside. Maybe somebody's on the roof. Big deal during the day. Didn't think anything of it. It happened again. Then I went outside and I looked. Is anybody on the roof? Are there workers? Nobody's up there. I heard it again. I lifted up the like little crawl space, and I looked with a light, and there was no room. Nobody could walk. I asked the management, I said, can you go from one apartment to another? No. I thought maybe, who knows? We had a bunch of my law school friends. Happened to be watching Quincy. We had Quincy night. And we heard, did you hear that? They heard it. Okay. I even went so far as to say, did anybody die here? I know it sounds weird, but because I always heard a story. No. Okay. I don't know what it was. I heard it. I don't know what it was. Now, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to read into it. It's a spirit. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a demon. I don't know. I always have, when it comes to trying to explain things, my brakes work better than my accelerator. I always say, wait a minute, hold it, wait a minute, stop. I know sometimes we want to fill in the blanks. I know we want to make things sound more complicated. And I know people love the idea of evil. And I know that when people go through this idea of, why do you think there's this evil? He talks about this thing where you're propelled to do things because you're. Look, you're making this far more complicated than it is. Don't call it evil. There are people who do bad things. And the last thing they say is, isn't this great doing evil? No, it's about being selfish or being self-gratifying up to an or maybe sadistic. Maybe that's a part of it. But when you read into this, when you romanticize the complexity of the evil and you bring in and imbue the spirit of Satan and Lucifer and Beelzebub and the spirits and the demons and the exorcists, and in my opinion, you're entitled to think what you want, but I think this is the classic example of how mankind always romanticizes. We love anthropomorphism. We look at our dogs and say, oh, look, the dog is happy. Happy? Happy. What do you mean happy? Well, it's wagging his tail. Is it happy or is it alert? Is this some kind of primordial thing where it's alert? It's an atavistic, reflexive thing. The dog loves me. How do you know loves you? Or looks at you like you're the feeder, shows affection for the feeder. I don't know. Sparky says sleep apnea can cause a lot of realistic, fantastic dreams to get remembered. Says people wake up during them. They often wake up gasping for air too. That could very well be. You know what? But the claw marks, sleep is a wonderful thing. There's a wonderful the hypnagogic stages. It's a transitional state of consciousness between the wakefulness state and sleep. It is characterized by sensory perceptions, such as visual hallucinations, seeing shapes, patterns, light flashes, animals, people, or faces, somatic hallucinations, feeling bodily distortions, weightlessness, flying, falling, or sensing another person in the room, auditory hallucination. Hypnagogic hallucinations are common and usually not a cause for concern. Up to 70% of people experience them at least once. They're usually brief and fleeting, but can sometimes be prolonged. It's a fascinating subject. I'm not saying that's what it is. I don't know. I do not know this. Nelson A says, happy Thanksgiving to you, Mrs. O. We are thankful for you. The nicest thing you've said. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. We're going to be together on Thanksgiving. God damn it. Better believe it. And also, it could be a demon. A demon could be it. Remember the expression, there was a physician who said, when you hear footsteps, don't think zebra. Oh, hoof beats, or hoof steps, or hoof beats. Yeah. Don't think zebra. I don't want to say Occam's razor. I don't know. But he is a man who is going through a lot of personal stuff. And if you have ever been, he loves to talk about how he stopped drinking. And I'm fascinated by this. I told you what I love to do is I listen to, there's some of the best AA stories ever, and how people explain what it is, and they're some of the best storytellers and some of the best speakers. Have you seen or been a part of something that is either spiritual. Sometimes it can be also, I believe that one of these days we're going to be using hallucinogens and MDMA and other types of hypnotic drugs and whatever, and hallucinogenics, which if you're going to use them very, very carefully. But I believe there's a whole part of our spirituality and our senses that are crushed and quelled. I really believe this. I think that we were born with far more extrasensory spiritual things, and we'll just use spiritual as a kind of a generic term for these things. I really believe so. I believe. And then through a lot of things, either because of society, medication, people, religion saying, don't believe in that. That's evil stuff. Dogs may have thought they were helping Tucker as he flailed about with sleep apnea and ended up inadvertently scratching him. Could very well be. That's the very fact, though, that they were not awakened. That they're not awakened. They're asleep. You understand this? They're asleep. They're not. Who knows? I don't know. You will never, ever hear me say that I was attacked by a demon in the middle of the night. If I went through something that was traumatic, you will never hear me say it. You will never hear me talk about moments of my life when I had personal disasters and struggles, and never, ever. I'll tell you about stuff that might be interesting, kind of funny, or maybe, but anything deep, never. I never talk about that. Why? Because it's nobody's business. And I think people sound like an asshole when they start talking about this, like they're the only person who's ever suffered. Because the first thing I'm thinking about is this is nothing compared to people who really are suffering. Whatever I've been through doesn't even matter. I keep thinking as we speak right now, across town at Memorial Sloan Kettering and at MD Anderson and Moffitt Center, there are kids and parents and people watching their kids dying of cancer. And they're waiting to get that, to hear that beep, to hear that code blue, and to see their child die. And parents who have been through this. And I'm going to tell you, because I had to battle with a bottle, or I went through some depression, or was attacked by a demon. I would never do that. Never deign to do that. I'm not worthy of it. I sound like an idiot compared to other people. People who've seen war and PTSD and who live with trauma, rape victims, and people who've been through horrors. And I'm going to tell you my little old problem. One day I woke up and I was spiritually, it was a demon, and I woke up and I lit a candle. Oh, for God's sake, grow a pair, be a man, would you? I mean, I'm sorry if it helps you. I just can't do that. Sparky says sleepwalking is real. Somnambulism, especially if one goes to bed hungry. There's also that sleeping pill which people sleep drive. That right, Ambien. Somnambulism. Oh, absolutely. They used to say at night, stay in. Remember, people were putting on weight, and they would wake up and they'd see like food and dishes, and they're saying, I told you kids to put the dishes. They go, Mom, we did. And people would sleepwalk. Oh, yes. You do know that when you sleep, or in REM sleep, you go into paralysis, so you don't act out your dreams. You act out. You don't, so you're paralyzed. Babies go into REM sleep immediately. You can see their eyes darting back and forth. The dogs do it too. And REM sleep, believe it or not, initially was responsible for the assisting in the myelinization, so to speak, in the circuitry of the brains and filling things. Dreaming is so important. They did studies before where they would put somebody in a sleep lab, and if you woke somebody up during REM sleep and they never dreamt or dreamed, and they slept for long periods of time, they would be exhausted the next day. It's a fascinating subject. But there are also people who want so much for there to be a God They want there to be a God. They need for there to be a God. And they need for somebody to be in control of their lives. Not everybody, but some people. They act, everything they do is, this is a message. God told me. God told me to go there. God told me to go to Walmart. God told me to buy that. God told me to go to Costco and get the whatever. God told me not to go down that street. Okay. I'm not gonna dispute. How do I tell you that's not true? When they gave out the spiritual over trip, I wasn't there that day. I'm far too pragmatic, I believe that there are some things we can't understand, but I don't love this. I one time recently I was on a panel listening to a person, a woman who I think was well-intended, was so full of shit. She was talking about something, and I felt like laughing. And people loved her. Oh, thank you. And this is for me now. I'm not saying you can do whatever you want. But I think there is a natural tendency in human beings to love the romantic, to love and expand upon and embellish the spiritual and the symbolic, to give meaning to everything. Look. Can you see the sky? Can you see the clouds? Look, can you see the face? Look, the dog loves me. Always seeing something, seeing good, seeing a message, seeing something friendly. Look, there's a good sign. Oh, a rainbow. What the hell does that have to do with it? There's a rainbow. Oh, the birds. Oh, look, it stopped raining. That's a sign. That's a sign. It is. It's a sign. Sparky says, an old girlfriend was prescribed Ambien. After she woke up in her front yard in her nightgown a couple of times, she stopped taking it. That'll do it. And the worst part is when you woke up in her nightgown, which is a whole nother story too. I love being put out. I love propofol. The only time I get this, like during a colonoscopy every 5 years or whatever it is, but there's that like zzz, right there. They feel, here we go. And you feel it. You feel the vapors. You feel it. And then you're gone. You're gone. And then we get into the notion of consciousness. What is conscious? And that's why AI fascinates me. Because one day we're going to be able to create something that is, in fact, has self-awareness and enjoys consciousness and is, for all practical purposes, a person. All right, my friends. God damn it, I love this. You all are so terrific. Sparky, you were superb tonight, my friend. You were Doog. You were so Doog. Nelson A., thank you, my friend. Spandex, thank you. Cobbs. Stephen Lynch. Johnny Mazza Spaz, love you. Pilgrim Media, thank you, brother. Polly, I think brother. I can't, you know what? I can't tell. I'm sorry, I cannot tell. I see you long here. Forgive me. I don't know. I can't. I see a little tiny thumbnail. I don't know. Don't know. Please. Brother, sister, friend, they. It doesn't matter. Pollyanna Forever, thank you. Soul 76 Can, thank you. And Howie Brown, bless your heart. Hang on a second. I think I can see something. Wait a minute. Let me go to the other side. Let me see. There's nothing worse than getting somebody's gender incorrect. Oh God forbid. You know how this is. It's horrible when people. Just a second. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Wow. So much great stuff. Hang on a second. Let me see this. Wait a minute. Let me see this. I'm looking. You know what I do? Just so that you know. I go to the other side and I look to see where it is. Let me see here. Let me see just a minute. Maybe that, maybe. No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Again, I do not know this. I'm so, it means a lot to me. I do not want to insult anybody. I can't tell. These damn thumbnails are so, this is going to, As I told you before, when I want to find something out, I find it out. I don't want to be so rude. Sometimes I've seen people that I thought for a long time, for example, see Sparky's thumbnail? I didn't know that was a dog. I swear to God, I didn't know it was a dog. I thought it was I don't know what the hell it was. I thought it was some other thing. Hang on a minute. Keep talking. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, wow. So much. Sorry about that. Just a minute. I think that I can't tell. I'm so sorry. I cannot tell. All right, my friends. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your how do I say this? Thank you for your countenance. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. Have a great and glorious night. I love it. All right, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warrior. She's got some great stuff coming up. You have a great and glorious night, a beautiful night, a wonderful night. We'll talk to you then until we meet again later. Oh, by the way, don't forget to sign up for Lionel Legal. Lionel Legal. I got one dropping at 9 or something. Lionel Legal. Sign up right now. Go sign up right now for Lionel Legal. That's our sister, so to speak, channel. Lionel Legal. Until then, my friends, remember, monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.